Now, this is a big deal. This is the first time ever that you're able to open and fund a Solo Roth 401k after the tax year has ended. So that could be in addition to your Roth IRA of a $6,000 contribution. You might still be able to also fund and open a Solo Roth 401k. So I've been talking about this on several videos recently about using a Solo 401k and a Solo Roth 401k. And if you have a side hustle, 1099 income, any earned income beyond a W-2, you might be able to open and fund a Solo Roth 401k. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and we're going to compare it to the Roth IRA, how you can get even more money in the Solo Roth 401k. And we're also going to compare it to the traditional side of the 401k. And it doesn't even matter if you have a retirement plan at work. If you do, you might still be able to open and fund a Solo Roth 401k. So that's what we're going to go through in this video. But before we do, if this is your first time at our channel or you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button at the bottom. My name is Travis Sickle, certified financial planner, helping you reach your financial goals. So the Solo Roth 401k, I want to compare it to the Roth IRA, which you're probably familiar with. So you can contribute up to $6,000 into the Roth IRA for 2020 and 2021. In fact, right now, you can fund both years at the same time if you really wanted to. But if you want to get even more money into the Roth side of your retirement plan and you have that earned income outside of the W-2 income, then you might be able to actually open and fund that Solo Roth 401k. So let's take a look first at the contribution limits to the Roth IRA so we can kind of get an idea of what the difference between the two types of accounts are. Well, they're very similar. They're also different types of accounts. So let me pull it up on the screen with the IRS website showing us the income limits to the Roth IRA. And this is really the biggest difference between the two types of accounts. So the Roth IRA has income limits, and those limits depend on your filing status. Now, if you're married filing jointly, as you can see right here, if you're less than $196,000, you can contribute the full amount to the Roth IRA. But as we get over that $196,000, it begins to phase out. Now, I'm not going to go over into the phase out range and exactly what that is in this video. I do have other videos on what that phase out means, but in a nutshell, it's a reduced amount the more money that you earn. And when you get over $206,000 for a modified adjusted gross income, which is a little bit different than your adjusted gross income, over $206,000, then you can no longer contribute directly to a Roth IRA. But there are other ways to get money inside of your Roth IRA, even if you're over those limits. But that is for another video. And those are the income limits for married filing jointly. And if we scroll down to single, it has a lot lower limits for individuals. So if you're filing single or head of household, it's $124,000 or less. You can contribute the full amount to the Roth IRA, and it begins to phase out between $124,000 and $139,000. Now, if you're in that threshold, you want me to go through the phase outs again for 2020 or 2021, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. But these are the phase outs for 2020. Now, the phase outs will change for 2021. So if you are trying to make a contribution moving forward, then you want to check out the 2021 Roth IRA contributions because they adjust ever so slightly, going up to $198,000 and up to $208,000. And for an individual or singles is $125,000 or less for the full amount, completely phasing out at $140,000. Now we compare this to the Solo Roth 401k, and there are no income limits. It doesn't matter how much money that you earn, you can contribute to the Solo Roth 401k up to $19,500, both for 2020 and then again for 2021. Now, for both sides, the Roth IRA and the Solo Roth 401k, it needs to be earned income. So it can't be dividends or interest or investment income that you can contribute into either one of these two accounts. And while the Roth IRA has to be any earned income, the Solo Roth 401k side has to be income from either your side hustle, independent contractor work, or as an LLC or a sole proprietor. You can even have an S corporation and potentially contribute into the Solo Roth 401k. And both types of Roth accounts are non-deductible, meaning it's not going to help you reduce your adjusted gross income or your taxable income in the year you make those contributions. But as it grows, it's going to grow tax deferred and tax free. And then when you pull it out in retirement after age 59 and a half, then that growth could also come out tax free. And now let's talk about comparing it to the traditional side. So on the traditional Solo 401k or the 401k, it goes in pre-tax, gross tax deferred, and then comes out as ordinary income in retirement, which is like a paycheck. Where on the Roth IRA side or the Roth 401k side, that money goes in after tax. So you're paying tax on those dollars this year. By making those contributions into the Roth Solo 401k, you are not reducing your taxable income in the year of that contribution. But the huge benefit is that over time, as that money grows, it's going to be tax deferred. And most likely when you pull it out, as long as it's not before age 59 and a half, then it will also come out tax free. That's a huge benefit. And that's why people love the Roth accounts. So here's the part where a lot of people might get confused as to how much they can contribute to the Roth side of their Solo 401k. And that is up to $19,500. But that would be an employee contribution. So as a small business owner, no matter how you file as a small business owner, you're really wearing two hats. One is the employee and one as the employer. Even if you have a side hustle, the math is going to work out the same exact way, where you're going to make that contribution as an employee. So that's up to $19,500. But that also includes the traditional side of your 401k. And if you have a workplace plan, if you have a day job where you're getting a W-2 paycheck and you have a retirement plan that you're contributing to, that will also account for up to $19,500 into all of those accounts. So you can split it up any way that you want, but you can't go over that $19,500 limit for the Roth or the traditional combined. So let's go through a quick example of someone that has $10,000 of net profit from their Schedule C. So if you have a side hustle, independent contractor work, line 31 of your Schedule C is where you want to start. So take that number, apply it to this example, and this is how you're going to get to the maximum amount that you can possibly put into your Solo Roth 401k. So in this example, let's assume that we had $10,000 of net profit on line 31. The first thing that we want to do is multiply it by 0.9235, which is going to help us figure out how much we should reduce, how much we can put in for our compensation, because we have to subtract 1/2 of our self-employment tax. So 10,000 times 0.9235, that's $9,235. And then we have to take this number and multiply it by 0.153. 153 or 15.3% is our self-employment tax. I know this seems a little crazy, but that's how we figure out our 1/2 of self-employment. So we're going to take 9,235, multiply it out by 0.153, and that's going to equal $1,412.95 or 96 cents if we're rounding. Divide by 2, and that's going to be our 1/2, which is 706.47 or 48. We can round that, and then we're going to subtract it from our $10,000. Again, this is our 1/2 of self-employment. So 10,000 minus 706, and we'll just round that to 50 cents. So that's going to be $10,000 minus 706.5. That leaves us with $9,293.50. This is the maximum amount that we can contribute into our Solo Roth 401k. And that does not affect your contribution into the Roth IRA. So even if you qualified for the full amount in the Roth IRA, that was $6,000. This could be an additional, in this case, an additional $9,293.50, which is 100% of your self-employment compensation that you can put into the Solo Roth 401k. Now, if you're getting a match at work, that is the employer contribution. So that does not include the $19,500. That's going to be a separate calculation. Now, for the Solo Roth 401k, you can only go up to the $19,500 as an employee contribution. You can't also make that matching contribution, or also called a profit sharing contribution. If you wanted to put more money into your Solo 401k, you still can, but those contributions would come as a profit sharing contribution as an employer. Now, that was most of the heavy lifting as far as the Solo Roth 401k goes. Opening up an account is actually relatively easy, and you could do it almost at any brokerage firm or any broker dealer or any online trading platform that will allow you to open up the Solo Roth 401k. It's just a little bit of paperwork, and then you have the account open and you can fund it and start making those contributions for your future. And if you have any questions about the Solo Roth 401k, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.